I think a lot of people don't understand how the media you consume will shape you as a person. What I mean by that is when you think about all the media, your friends, the movies you like, the shows you watch, the music you like, they all affect you and shape you as a person because like without even knowing your brain is gonna take in these common habits or common lyrics or phrases or scenes in any type of media, something that relays in your brain over and over and something that you like, it's going to shape you as a person. So, first thing you got to think about is you got to relate these, view your own habits, view your own personality, your own attributes, and relate them to the music you like, the shows you like, the movies you like, the friends you have. And you're going to notice that there's a lot of similarities between the both of them. You got to think of how when you watch or listen to a certain song, how all of these things that are being said and that you're listening to over and over again, they all have an effect on you, even without you noticing. Like, think of a word that your friend might say a lot, and now, after a while of him saying it, you start to pick it up as your own language, and it's become it's part of you now, because of how you were close to that person or always listened or consumed what they were saying in your brain. And it's the same thing with any form of media, same thing with any form of relationship. It all affects how we act in our behavior due to what we kind of relate to and stay close to within our own lives. So why is this happening? How does your brain pick up these things? And so the first thing I think you need to think about, or the second thing, is now when you see all these media, think about what do you want to kind of keep relaying in your brain. When you, or at least for music, for instance, right? If you want to have the thought of, we'll relate it to positive and negative thinking. If you want to have your brain or your personality thinking more positively, if you limit all your media to strictly or mostly positive things, then you're gonna in turn think more positively because of the way that your brain has been inputting all this actually positive thinking instead of the negative. So when you, for a song for instance, instead of listening to one that's like very very sad or very negative in the way maybe it uses a lot of cussing or like promotes very bad behavior, compared to listening to a song that's maybe upbeat, happier, or promoting more safe and positive things, you're gonna, if you listen to the song with the more positivity in it for a longer period of time, your brain will naturally think more positively over time instead of the negative. You can relate this to friends too, and think of it as like the word example that I use, but also when you're around people that are negative, not authentic, not real, fake, it turns you lean that way. You start to become the people you are around. You consume what is around you, the media, their friends, and it shapes you. So when you see that and you notice, you're going back to noticing your own personality right now, try and very like have almost like an examination of your own self and realize how you're a lot like your friends, you're a lot like the music you listen to, you're a lot like the movies you watch, you're a lot like the shows you watch. Your taste is going to reflect on yourself, and it's something that people can notice, something that you can notice, and something you can definitely work on if it's not where you want it to be. And if you find yourself always thinking a certain way or acting and you're behaving a certain way that you may not like or is very negative, look into the media you consume, look into the type of TikToks you see, and notice how it's usually reflective of your own way of thinking, because all of it all has algorithms to show what you want to see. So if you're liking all this negative stuff, probably because your brain is thinking about that all the time and you found it relatable or something, so it's going to push it more to your page. Same thing with friends. When you have a bunch of negative friends, they're gonna lean you. You're gonna notice maybe I'm doing the same actions as them. Maybe it's either you finding more real and authentic people who make better decisions, or maybe you could make the change, and because they're close to you, they in turn also lean towards you. It's like there's one TikTok saying about like the tree leaning and be careful where you lean, all in the same aspect of thinking. Be careful with which way you lean, because what you consume every day is going to shape you as a human. You cannot, unless you live completely under a rock and you've just gone through the motions of your own day, you're going to be influenced by what you see on your phone, what you see in movies, what you see in people around you, actions around you. It's all going to affect you. And so that's really what I'm trying to say is be careful with what you're consuming into your brain, because it all has an effect on your personality and the way you behave, the way you think. And as a way of kind of testing this way of thinking, I've probably challenged myself and challenged any one of you guys. Think of a couple like ways of media or friends that you have who may not, that you see yourself similar to because you've been around them or listened to the media a while, where you notice you've had a negative impact on your behavior, and try and cut that out or stop yourself from kind of leaning that way, and notice how different you're gonna think, you're gonna act. So for a movie or a show, for instance, like if you're gonna watch some show that's gonna include a lot of negative, very sad and almost depressing thoughts, instead of watching that, you could either fill your time with more productive things or just in turn watch something more positive. And instead of you finishing that show or movie and being wrapped up in all those negative and depressing thoughts, now you're wrapped up in these positive thoughts, or maybe even got the time to do something productive for yourself. And you're gonna notice a change. And that's the goal. Noticing positive growth and positive change. And it can all be influenced by what you consume from friends and media. And when I say media, I'm talking about all types of art, all types of music, shows, TikTok, social media, all of it, every single post you see, every single post you scroll through, it all gonna have some type of effect on your brain. Your brain's gonna input all of that information, and it's gonna cause you to think in different ways. So next time you're scrolling through, next time you're watching some type of movie, next time you're hanging out with your friends, be wary of like what the information your brain is getting from those types of media and hanging out, and those types of decisions those friends make. So that when you notice yourself falling to what they're doing in a negative way, notice how maybe there's a change needed. But and also if there's a positive way, maybe you notice your friends are having very authentic and real and are making positive decisions. Now you have this almost inclined to want to do the same. It's in human nature to copy and relate and be inspired by others to be the same or feel like you're gonna fit in. So if you surround yourself with all these positive things, your brain will naturally want to do the same and fit in with what you're watching and what you're seeing and who you're being with. So there's two ways that it can end up. And if you choose the positive way, it'll dramatically increase the amount of joy and happiness you're gonna think about, act as, and behave like. So next time you're doing all those things and putting all that knowledge in your brain, think about how each one is gonna change for the better or for the worse, and how you can change for the better or for the worse. So I want to talk about how media, what you consume every day, is gonna change you as a person, and how you can make it better for yourself. So yeah, see you guys tomorrow.